Or actually notice the way that the word looks, the way the letter looks as it changes from being in the beginning of the word to the middle of the word to the end of the word. So when it's at the beginning of the word, it looks like this. Well, it's synonymous. So it's as if it's like the full letter, but we cut off the end part of the letter because it's going to have to connect to another letter. So it's cut off, but it's the same letter. It's the, but you don't see when you put letters together in Arabic language to make words, they don't look the same as they do when they're separate, which is the opposite of English. In English, the letters look the same no matter where they're at in the word. And you can kind of make an analogy to how when we used to, I think it's obsolete right now, the cursive writing. When we used to learn how to write in cursive, the way the letter looks, it changes when you write in cursive because you're connecting it to another letter. But English, when it's just the normal way of writing, the letter stays the same. It looks the same no matter where it's at. It's the full letter. But here, so Arabic, it's like, you can kind of think of it like this cursive writing in English. The letters go together. They merge together. So that means that the way they look is going to be different depending on where they are in the word. So in the beginning of the word, it looks like this. In the middle of the word, it looks like this. So you chop off the beginning and the end. You just have you can really only recognize it by this line. If you notice this little line here in the middle that goes up, and of course the three dots, then you know it's that because you know that the only letter that has three dots in a line is that. So for example, another letter that has three dots is sheen. So if it was sheen, you would see, instead of this one line, you'll see three lines and the three dots. At the end of the word, then it looks like the full letter because you're able to make the first line and then there's no word coming after, no letter coming after, so you can complete the second line. It looks the same. So that's so you know. Sometimes people may be confused when they start to read Arabic and they're like, these letters don't look like, what's in the alphabet when I see them in the alphabet. And that's the reason why, because when you connect them, they lose some of their form because, you can't write a word when you're connecting letters and they all look the exact, they all have the same, they're all full letters. It's not possible. So, okay. And here's an exercise. I encourage everyone to do the exercises at home as much as possible because the only way you're really going to learn right now, we're learning the theory behind it, but until you actually start writing and reading and things like that, that's the practical way to learn. So here, you just write the letter ta in the different ways that it looks, depending on whether it's in the beginning, middle, or end. So here, for example, it says in the beginning of the word, write the letter how it looks when it's in the beginning. And then when it's in the middle, right here, write how it looks here. So you just go up a couple of lines here, and you'll see this is how you write it in the middle. This is how you write it in the end. This is how you write it in the beginning. So It's not difficult, but it just takes a little bit of time. And here, another exercise is here. It says just draw a line between every two letters that look the same in the way that they're written. So this one, we'll just draw a line from here to here, and here to here, and here to here, and here to all the way over here. So I just give you practice on how to recognize how the word works in the different parts of it, how the letter looks in different parts of the name. So now we go to the vowels. Now, it tells you how to pronounce the letter when depending on the vowel that it has on it. So as a refresher, there are three short vowels in the Arabic language: fatha, kasra, dhamma. Fatha, this one, it's the line that goes above the letter. This line represents the letter. So a line goes above, it's fatha, and you give it an a sign. And then kasra, you give it an e sign. It's the line that goes under the letter. And dhamma, it goes over the letter, and it has a u sound. So a, e, u. A, e, u. Ta, ti, tu. Ta, ti, tu. Gonna give it a shot. Good.
Ta, ti, tu.
Excellent.
Fatha, kasra, dum.
Dhamma. Yes. Excellent. Okay. The good thing about Arabic is it's at least it starts off very easy, but then as you get more used to it, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. But by that time, you're used to it, so it just goes up in difficulty by small degrees. But in the very beginning, it's very easy. Okay, so now more vocabulary. These are the words that have ta in them. Okay. And they have ta in the beginning, the first letter. So the first one, sorry, you want to give it a shot?
What's that? The picture.
Yeah.
Put my glasses on.
Mhm.
Let's see. It's kind of blurry. The refrigerator one.
Yeah.
Is it? Faraja tun.
Very close. But look at the lam, the second letter has a shadda.
So talajatun.
Excellent. Very good. The lagitum.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry down there.
Oh,
It's clear on your thing.
yeah.
Show.
The lagitum. That's how you say refrigerator. Remember, try when you go home to use these words around the house, because then it'll stick. It'll become like second nature. The lagitum. Okay. Now, what about the second picture? What do we have here in the second picture?
Boom.
Not exactly. What's the second letter? Yeah, the first one, yes. E. But what's the second letter?
I'm trying to see.
It may look a little bit blurry, but it has two dots under it. It's the line has two dots.
So it's the yabun.
Excellent. Excellent.
Let's see if I can. Then snake.
Our favorite animal.
Full, full,
That's very close. Thorbanun. Thorbanun. Which one of these three words can we find in the Quran?
Definitely not.
Actually, two of them.
It's not refrigerator.
No.
So we're gonna say the snake and the shirts.
Yes. Thiyabun and Thorbanun. And which of these words did we already see?
The snake. I'm not mistaken.
I don't think we saw the snake yet.
What was the one?
And this
that was a rat.
Yeah.
That was rat. What we talked about.
It's up here somewhere. There's one of our first words. Let's look up here. Okay, here we go. It's one of these words. It's not the exact word, but it's the plural of one of these pictures. So here we have actually two of those words are actually here. Well, the roots, they have the same roots. So remember we saw the refrigerator is thalagitun. And they call it thalagitun because it keeps things cold. It's like it uses ice to keep things cold. So here we see thalj. They have the same roots. They have the same three-letter root. So the root of thalagitun is most words in Arabic have a three-letter root. So the three-letter root of thalagitun is ta, lam, jim. And now you see here, thalajun is ice. So they have the same root, they have the same root meaning, but it's just the thalaj is ice and thalaja is refrigerator. Remember, you used to call refrigerators ice. What do we call it?
Icebox.
Icebox. Yeah, icebox. Yeah, I think my mother still says icebox. And then thobe. Thobe is one garment, but if you have more than one or more than two, technically, then you will say thiyab, which is the word that you saw down here. Yeah. Remember, the root of thiyab and thobe, the three-letter root is tha, aleph, ba. So this is thiyabun, the plural of thobe. Yeah. So last exercise here is tamir. So the sound that the tha makes when it has a fatha over is tha. Ta'un fatha tha. Ta'un fatha tha. And then the examples are thobe, methal, taqab, and summer. If you really want to go a little deeper, you can look up the meanings of each of these words. So thobe, we know, is a garment. Methal is like a similitude or like an example. And you find this word in the Quran as well. Like I think it's sort of tough where Allah makes an example between the wives of the good wives and the bad wives. Like he gives us the example of the wife of who's the bad wife in the Quran? Anybody?
Lut's wife.
Yes, Prophet Lut and another one.
Abu Lahab's wife.
Yes, he has a whole sword.
That's
My sword.
Prophet Nuh's wife.
Yes, Lot and Nuh. So it says, Abu Talib's wife? No, I don't know. She wasn't Muslim, definitely, but she's not mentioned in the Quran. I don't know if she was even alive during the time of after Prophet Sallallahu became the prophet. She's not mentioned in the seer as far as I know. But let me see here. I don't want
Another one?
no, it's those two, but I want to get the verse right. Let's see. ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط. So we go to the translation. It says Allah presents an example. So ضرب الله مثلا. That's the same word we see here. مثلا. So it's like an example. Okay. And then ثقب. ثقب is a whole. And Tamar, you may know this one. This is also in the Quran. Tamar, anybody know what that means? Tamar is fruit. Fruit. Any fruit is called tamar. The fruit that we get from the trees is tamar. And then thiyab. Okay, so ta kasra ti. Ta kasra ti thiyabun. And then uthira atima al-warithi. Al-warithi. Okay, so these also are words that we find in the Mus'haf. It has a ta with kasra. Thiyab knows clothes. Uthira, that means to find something. Atima, you know what that means? Atima. Atima means to sin. He sins. Atim.
Sins.
Yeah. He commits a sin. Atima, yes. I can't think of the ayat that has the word sins. Atima. But al-warithi, that's the person who inherits. Al-warithi. Wal-warithu mithlu dhalik. I believe that's in Surah Al-Baqarah. I'm not mistaken. Al-warithi. And then so ta was dhamma thul. Ta'un dhamma thul. Thullatun. Thullat. Thullat. Thullatun. Thullatun. Yalhatun. Yalhatun. Mirathun. And then thuluth. Okay. I'm not sure what thulla means. But yalhatun, that word I remember from the Quran, it's in the Quran, yalhatun. It refers to like a dog. When a dog is barking, it's yalha. Yalha. And mirath is the inheritance. Mirath. Mirath. And thuluth. Now thuluth, anybody know what that means? It's it's like a mathematical terminology. Thuluth. It's like a third, because remember, thalatha is three.
Right.
Thuluth is a third. So it's the same root word, same root meaning, but it's different. It's being used in a different way. Thuluth is a third. And then, so that would just sukoon, meaning it has no vowel. That and sukoon, and then you need a letter to go in front of it to actually represent act, like act. If you have aleph in front of tha with sukoon act, so it has there's no tha, thi, or thu. It's act. This is the first part of the sound of the letter. Mithlu, ithnan, ithnatan, and itham. So ithnan is two. Mithlu is like. Mithlu, like. Ithnan, two. Ithnatan, also two, but feminine. And then itham is a sin. Itham is a sin. So now you see, when you learn the meanings of these words, you start to know how to understand the Quran. When you hear it, now you know. Now you understand what it's saying without having to refer to the translation. Okay, all right, that's our Arabic lesson for today. Any questions? No questions. So practice this as much as possible. Look up these words. Try to find these words in the Quran to get some extra, exercise, go more in depth. Okay. All right, so now we can move on to Aqeedah. Let's talk a little bit about Aqeedah and just do a refresher on the last class. So Aqeedah, we finished the first book actually, because the last lesson we had, we talked about the last chapter of the book. Now remember, we did skip a lot. That's why we finished, because we skipped a lot, because there's a lot in here that requires you to sit down and read and digest it at your own pace. And to go over it here, it would take a long time, and you may forget it because there's so much information being said in a short amount of time. You may forget it. So it's best to go over the parts we can cover in the book. I'm trying to just cover the most important parts because it's really in depth. So what I want to do here is go over the last part. And then you can take a look through the book and really try to get a good grasp on all the things that we couldn't cover. So remember, we said that lordship, there's three aspects of lordship, and that is having the ability to create from nothing, and then having the sovereignty or the dominion, meaning you own everything that exists, and then the control. You control everything that happens in the universe. No one can claim to be a lord if he doesn't have all three of these things. And it gives you all the verses where you can see the evidence for that. So Then we discuss how you can prove the existence of Allah to someone who doesn't. Most people don't accept the Quran as the book of love, and even beyond those people, even some Muslims begin to have, especially young Muslims, have doubts about, especially in these times, about the existence of God and things like that. So evidence for the existence of Allah other than the religious text is going to be three things. Innate human nature, which is the fitrah, reason and common sense, and then tangible, visible evidence. These are the three things that prove the existence of Allah. So again, the first one, evidence of innate human nature or the fitrah. It says every creature has been created with an innate inclination to believe in the Creator without having to even think about it or learn about it. And he will not be diverted from this natural inclination, except in the case of one who is taught something different that diverts him from that. The Prophet ﷺ said, every child is born in a state of fitrah. Then his parents make him into a Jew or a Christian or a Zoroastrian. And that is narrated by Al-Bukhari.
What's a disaster?
Zoroastrian, that's the fire worshippers.
Yeah, those people in Persian. Okay, Persians. Those is like the three main religions in that area. Okay. I think Magians is the same too. I think they kind of was on the same thing. Magians and Zoroastrians. Yeah. Zoroastrians.
Zoroastrian. I'm not sure if they exist today, but I'm sure they exist in some perspectives.
The other part, he said he did not say, well, they make him into a Muslim because he is already Muslim by nature, naturally affirms the oneness of Allah. Allah, one that Allah says, so direct your face towards the religion inclining to truth. Adhere to the picture of Allah upon which he has created all people. No change should there be in the creation of Allah. That is the correct religion. Yes.
Yes.
When a person is in dire straits, he turns to Allah. If some calamity befalls him, or he is faced with danger, he calls upon Allah and seeks his help. Allah has mentioned this in more than one place in this holy book, including the following verses. And when adversity touches you at sea, lost are all those who invoke except for him. But when he delivers you to the land, you turn away from him. And ever is man ungrateful. Surah Al-Isra, 1767. And when they board a ship, they supplicate Allah, sincere to him in religion. But when he delivers them to the land at once, they associate others with him. Can you elaborate on that? The breakdown of that?
Yeah, so this is just giving proofs of the evidence of innate human nature that Allah exists. So
it's saying like the person is admitting that there's a God or a higher power, and those ayats were explaining that they use it when they really want something, but then when they get what they want, they easily go away from it.
Exactly.
But the question, or number one, the evidence of imminent human nature, innate human nature is saying that the human being recognizes that there's a higher power.
Yes.
Is that what that's saying? Okay.
Yes. And especially, like it says, it happens, you really can feel it when you are in a dire situation. Like if you think you're about to die, then you start to only call upon one God. You don't call upon any idols or any human beings. You just call upon one God. No matter, even atheists, for example, they may claim that they don't believe in God, but if when they come into a situation when it's dire and they feel like either they're going to die or they're going to lose too much that they can't recover, they call to God. So that's just, no one thinks about calling to idols because something that you can see that you made with your hands and it can't do anything. It's just an inanimate object and it can't do anything for you. Only something that is beyond our senses, beyond something so powerful that it can only it can change a situation. Nothing else can. Humans can't do it. Objects can't do it. Something beyond that. So they call upon Allah or God. And this is something that no one can possibly deny. It just comes out naturally. So that's what this means.
That's that brother Yusuf Islam.
Mhm.
That's what happened to him. Actually, he was out at sea, and his brother, I think now, Allah forgive me if I'm forgetting certain parts of it, but I think his brother had gifted him a Quran.
He did.
You know what I mean? So he read it and stuff. Then
I
kind
was thinking the
of
same story.
yeah, kind of put it off to the side. You know what I mean? So he's out in sea and getting ready to drown, and said, God, if you save me out of this, I'll worship you. And, I don't know if he called him Allah, if he said God, and he said a big thing, a big tidal wave came and pushed him up on shore.
Really?
Yeah. And ever since then, he been doing his thing. He got schools and, all kind of stuff. He done so many charitable things. You know what I mean? That's what he been up to. So
He did that in the 70s.
yeah, I want to say, or the 80s, early 80s, the 70s. You know what I'm saying? He's I think he's a UK guy, but
His name was Cat Stevens.
Cat Stevens.
He's very
folklore,
Korean type of guy. So yeah, he was doing his thing on that, but he was doing his thing. But that it's funny that particular. I in the Quran and talking about being out at sea. That's exactly what happened to him. And he called out and he said to the wave pushed him, into the shore. And that's when he was like, nope, this is it.
I see.
And there's a brother who was an admiral in the Navy. A white brother. He was a atheist. You know what I mean? And he was talking about even what you were saying about being an atheist. He said there's a such thing called the atheist prayer. He said, the atheist prayer, when they get hard pressed, then they say, oh, well, God, if you do exist, now they're acknowledging Allah in some way, shape, or form. If you do exist, then I'm in this situation and help me out. And then that shaitanic devil, Bill Maher, you know what I mean? He had said something because he's a staunch atheist, anti-Islamic dude. You know what I mean? He's a demon. And he was saying how, yes, I even found myself, I thought I was getting ready to die and called out for God. So there it is. And then what happened? He went back. I mean, Allah saved him from whatever, and then he went back to deny Allah. And it got worse. And got worse. And he got worse. He got worse.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Put it off there.
Good.
No, he was on the phone.
You can mute it.
Is it muted? There we go. Okay. Okay, so that is number one. Number one is evidence of innate human nature for the existence of Allah. The scripture. And then the next one, reason and common sense. This is the second evidence for that is used for proving the existence of Allah. So this evidence is based on the fact that there must be a creator for every created thing. This is a fact that everyone with sound reasoning accepts. When the Bedouin was asked about the existence of Allah, he said, on the basis of reason and common sense, the presence of dung indicates that a camel was there, and footprints indicate that someone passed by. The heaven with its big stars, the earth with its varied terrain, and the sea with its waves. Do they not indicate the existence of the all-knowing, the all-aware? So it's just common sense. I mean, obviously, there must be a creator for this universe. It couldn't just pop up.
I think when you talk about that, I think about Ibrahim alayhi salam. And he used common sense, you understand what I mean, as to, and then when he blamed it on, said that the big idols destroyed all of the small ones, they even themselves was like, come on, man. we know that didn't happen. So it's like, I mean, if you know that didn't happen, then why are you worshiping these idols?
Right.
You know, and it was the thing of like, okay, I worship the sun, and the sun said, then I worship the moon, then the moon said, and it was like, I worship who created the moon and the sun.
Right.
And that's common sense. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I gotta bring my notepad.
What a beautiful way of reaching that conclusion, and what amazing logic and eloquence. So, it is narrated that some atheists asked one of the scholars to debate with them about the existence of Allah, and made an appointment for that debate. The scholars came late, and that was done deliberately. The scholar came late deliberately. When he came to them and they asked him why he was late, he said, a river prevented me from coming to you, and I could not find anyone to transport me to you. But I did not have to wait for long until a boat came along with the helmsman to steer it, so I embarked on it, and it brought me to you. The atheists were astounded, and they said, what on earth are you talking about? He said to them, you deny that this universe has a creator, but you do not believe that a boat could not have a helmsman. They accepted this argument and affirmed the existence of Allah. Okay, so the Quran refers to this as Allah says, or were they created by nothing, or were they the creators of themselves? So Allah uses this method of arriving at the existence of Allah in the Quran here. So Allah doesn't just say, believe. And he could. I mean, there's no problem for Allah. Allah just says, look, this is my book, believe in it, and if you don't believe in it, then you'll go to hellfire for eternity. But because of his abundant mercy, he tries to use some methods to get these people who disbelieve to believe in him. So he gives them this example. And he asks them, were you created from nothing? Were they created from nothing? Or were they the creators of themselves? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Rather, they are not certain. And Allah encourages all throughout the Quran, he encourages the people to use their intellect. Not just believe blindly. Use your intellect, and you will arrive at the same conclusion. So there are only two possibilities, no third. First possibility, that this universe has no creator. This is impossible and is contrary to reason, because created things must inevitably have a creator, and made things must have a maker, for that which does not exist cannot create. Second possibility, that they create themselves and create the heavens and the earth. This is also impossible, and no one claims that he created himself, let alone the heavens and earth. So the only option left is that there must be one who brought it into existence and created it, namely Allah, the Lord of the worlds. This evidence is extremely powerful and clear. Hence, when Jubair ibn Mut'im radiallahu anhu heard it, he said, "My heart almost leapt out of place." Narrated by al-Bukhari. That part. Okay. Reflection and contemplation. This is also how you can use reason to arrive at the existence of Allah. And there's some examples there. Okay. And then the third thing is tangible, visible evidence. Okay, this is the one that you have to, it doesn't come naturally, but you have to see something or actually witness or experience something in order to arrive at this conclusion. The first one, okay, so there's two types of tangible, visible evidence of the existence of Allah. So the first one is his answering those who call upon him, seek his help, and are in distress. So when someone makes supplication to Allah, anyone, not just a Muslim, but even disbelievers, when they supplicate to God to cure them or to get them out of a difficult situation, and then something happens, like almost miraculously, to get them out of that, then that is the tangible evidence of the existence of Allah. Mm-hmm. So it's supplication in times of distress, seeking help in times of distress. And then the miracles of the prophets. So the signs of the prophets, which are called miracles, and which people saw or heard of them, offer definite proof of the existence of one who sent them, namely Allah. Because these are things that are beyond the capability of human beings. Allah causes them to happen for the purpose of supporting his messengers and causing them to prevail. And here's some examples that we've come across in reading the Quran, the miracle of Musa alayhi salam, who struck the rock with his staff, and then 12 streams of water came out for each tribe of the children of Israel. And the sign of Isa, when he gave life to the dead, he cured the leper, and he cured the blind. And the example of our Prophet sallallahu when he caused the moon to split into two. And of course the Quran, which is the last living miracle of any of the prophets. So again, that's the end of the first book, but you're gonna have to go over. You have to go over it. Okay, and just try to get the knowledge to soak, because there's so much information here that you're gonna forget it. So you have to revise so that it sticks in your mind. And also answering the questions, doing the exercises, they also help as well in that regard. Any questions about this one? This is the next one. Okay. So I guess we will stop there, and then next time we can just start the second book. And in the second book as well, we won't go over everything because it's a lot.
What's the next page? So
It's the next book, man.
yes, so we could just remind you that we're on page 80.
This is the end of this book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's reference something. So yeah, we'll start the second book next time. Okay. أنا كمان مهندس أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاك الله.
Okay.